So I think I figured this out. I'm gonna try and keep chat on my phone to the side. Uh, I think I figured it out. I need two monitors. Once I get a little money off of this, I'll get two monitors. But for now, I'm gonna be using my phone on the side. So for today, we're going to be talking about the basis of all the legislation. Now, I keep doing things a little out of order. The best thing I could have done first probably was go over how a bill becomes a law, and then I should have went over the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of West Virginia. I don't think I'm going to go over the Constitution of the United States, but I'm definitely going to go over this one, which is the West Virginia state constitution. So, boring stuff potentially today, but I mean, it's kind of necessary. It's important to know what your constitution says. So we're going to go over it. We're going to read the Constitution of West Virginia and see what's in there, I guess. All right, so preamble. So this is like basically like a little summary. Like, what are we doing here? Since through divine providence, I don't know about that, Chief, we enjoy the blessings of civil, political, and religious liberty. We, the people of West Virginia, in and through the provisions of this Constitution, reaffirm our faith and constant reliance upon God, and seek diligently to promote, preserve, and perpetuate good government in the state of West Virginia for the common welfare, freedom, and security of ourselves and our posterity. Now, for me personally, I'm letting it slip. I'm an atheist, right? So all of the faith in God stuff, I could do without, but I know it helps some people get through the day. So I'm gonna leave it alone for now. But the rest of it's pretty good. We are gonna work together to promote the common welfare, freedom, and security for ourselves and our children. Right? We're gonna try and make the world a better place for not only us to live in, but everyone else. So relations to the government of the United States. The state of West Virginia is and shall remain one of the United States of America. The Constitution of the United States of America and the laws and treaties made in pursuance thereof shall be the supreme law of the land. So that's just saying that if any law that we're passing conflicts with federal law, we default to federal law. Internal government and police. The government of the United States is a government of enumerated powers, and all powers not delegated to it, nor inhibited to the states, are reserved to the states or to the people thereof. That's true. Anything not delegated to the federal government is given to the states. Among the powers so reserved to the states is the exclusive regulation of their own internal government and police. That is also true. And it is the high and solemn duty of the several departments of government created by this Constitution to guard and protect the people of this state from all encroachments upon the rights so reserved. Fair enough. Continuity of constitutional operation. The provisions of the Constitution of the United States and of this state are operative alike in a period of war as in time of peace, and any departure therefrom or violation thereof under the plea of necessity or any other plea is subversive of good government and tends to anarchy and despotism. Maybe they could have said trends, but tends to doesn't quite fit in that. Maybe it did in the 1800s, but it doesn't now. So, for the election of representatives to Congress, the state shall be divided in districts corresponding in number with the representatives to which it may be entitled. The districts shall be formed of contiguous counties and be compact. Each district shall contain, as nearly as may be, an equal number of population to be determined according to the rule prescribed in the Constitution of the United States. So trying to make districts the same population size. So maybe some districts are really densely populated, so they're small little districts, and other ones are like mostly rural, so they're bigger districts. but it's meant to be broken up by population, essentially. Uh, the territory of the following counties, formerly parts of the Commonwealth of Virginia, shall constitute and form the state of West Virginia. And then it goes on to state all of the counties. The state of West Virginia includes the bed, bank, and shores of the Ohio River and so much of the Big Sandy River as was formerly included in the Commonwealth of Virginia, and all territorial rights and property in and jurisdiction over the same hereto reserved by and vested in the Commonwealth of Virginia are vested in and shall hereafter be exercised by the state of West Virginia. So all of the territories that were previously in Virginia but are also in West Virginia's borders are now in West Virginia. Oh, hey, Mr. Steve's here. Check that out. Killer. And such parts of the said beds, banks, and shores as lie opposite and adjoining the several counties of this state shall form parts of said several counties, respectively. All right, easy enough. Powers of the government in citizens. The powers of government reside in all the citizens of the state and can be rightfully exercised only in accordance with their will and appointment. I want you guys to remember this. This is where they get their power. Government derives its power from us, not the other way around. If they're not doing what we want, we need to get them out. Get them out. And if you feel like they're not doing what they want, and it seems like nobody's stepping up to the plate to do what we want, you can step up to the plate. That's what a democracy is about. So don't ever feel like maybe you're too stupid or you don't feel qualified to necessarily be a delegate or a senator or a governor even. If you feel like our will is not being represented correctly and the people of West Virginia aren't being treated fairly, you have a right to stand up and put yourself out there. Maybe, who knows, people will like you. They'll vote for you. Maybe you'll do something good. I mean, maybe you won't. Maybe you'll be a shit governor or a shit senator, but it's worth it if you feel like we're not being represented. I'd rather mix things up in an attempt to get better representation than stick with average to subpar representation. That's me, though. Requisites of citizenship. All persons residing in the state, born or naturalized in the United States, and subject to the jurisdiction thereof, shall be citizens of this state. Fair enough. If you live in this state and you're a U.S. citizen, you're a citizen of this state. Equal representation. Every citizen shall be entitled to equal representation in the government, and in all appointments of representation, equality of those numbers of those entitled thereto shall, as far as practicable, be preserved. So everyone has a right to participate in government, like I said. Provisions regarding property. No distinction shall be made between resident aliens and citizens as to the acquisition, tenure, disposition, or descent of property. So if you're a citizen, you're allowed to own property. If you're not a citizen, you're allowed to own property. Treason. What constitutes and penalty? Treason against the state shall consist only in levying war against it or in adhering to its enemies, giving them aid and comfort. No person shall be convicted of treason unless on testimony of 2 witnesses to the same overt act or on confession in open court. Okay, fair enough. The only way you can be convicted of treason is if you get caught and people admit you were there or you admit you were there. Treason shall be punished according to the character of the acts committed by the infliction of one or more of the penalties of death, imprisonment, or fine, as may be prescribed by law. So that leaves it open, like really open to the legislation, which is good. Montani semper liberi. This is like very good. Montani semper liberi. Stands for mountaineers are always free, right? I don't know why we had such an obsession with Latin in the early days of our country. A lot of people still claim that our motto is "In God We Trust," and maybe Maybe it is technically, but it wasn't when our founding fathers took over. So for all the like Christian traditionalists in this area that think it's in God we trust, it was actually originally e pluribus unum, which means from many one. I think that's better personally, just like Montani Semper Liberi, which is Mountaineers are always free, which is fantastic, right? So the present seal of the state with its motto shall be the Great Seal of the state of West Virginia and shall be kept by the Secretary of State to be used by him officially as directed by law. So they have a state seal that Secretary of State gets to put on things. Writs, commissions, official bonds, indictments. Ooh. Writs, grants, and commissions issued under the authority of this state shall run in the name of, and official bonds shall be made payable to the state of West Virginia. Indictments shall include against the peace and dignity of the state. Wow, okay, fair enough. Anytime you're indicted for a state crime, it says that. Ouch. Article 3, we're up to 3. All right, Bill of Rights. Ours is pretty short. All men are, all men specifically, all men are by nature equally free and independent and have certain inherent rights, of which, when they enter into a state of society, they cannot, by any compact, deprive or divest their posterity, namely, the enjoyment of life and liberty, with the means of acquiring and possessing property, and of pursuing and obtaining happiness and safety. Huh. Never forget that. Magistrates, servants of people. All power is vested in and consequently derived from the people. Boom! It's in the Constitution of this state. I bet. I haven't read the Constitution front to back, the U.S. one, but I can almost guarantee it's in there too. I bet we could find many spots where it says all power is vested in the people. All power is derived from the people. It'd be nice if it was treated that way, but it's not. Magistrates are their trustees and servants, and at all times amendable to them. So magistrates need to be kept up on. They are ours. Rights reserved to people. The government is instituted for the common benefit, protection, and security of the people, nation. I said fucking nation. This is what happens when you just read fucking forever. Alright. Government is instituted for the common benefit, protection, and security of the people, nation, or community. There it is. Nation. Of all its various forms, that is the best, which is capable of producing the greatest degree of happiness and safety, and is most effectually secured against the danger of maladministration. And when any government shall be found inadequate or contrary to these purposes, a majority of the community has an indubitable, inalienable, and indefeasible right to reform, alter, or abolish it in such manner as shall be judged most conducive to public weal? Weal? What the fuck is that? Going. Here it is. Wheal. A red swollen mark left on the flesh by a blow of pressure. That doesn't seem right. Oh, okay. Here it is. A sound, healthy, or prosperous state. Okay, that's really weird that it also means, like, getting hit with, like, a stick. Oh, man, dude. These words are just obnoxious sometimes. Okay, so... Moving on. It's not 1930 anymore, so we'll deal. Writ of habeas corpus. The privilege of the writ of habeas corpus shall not be suspended. No person shall be held to answer for treason, felony, or other crime not cognizable by a justice, unless presented or unless present motherfucker. I think maybe I didn't take my fucking vitamins today or something. All right. No person shall be held to answer for treason, felony, or other crime not cognizable by a justice unless on presentment or indictment of a grand jury. So that's jury. No bill of attainder, ex post facto law, or law impairing the obligation of a contract shall be passed. Bill of attainder. Here we go. Today we're learning, baby. Today we're learning. Bill of attainder. Get the fuck out of here. I don't care. I can't donate. I don't got money. A bill of attainder, also known as an act of attainder or writ of attainder or a bill of penalties, is an act of a legislature declaring a person or groups of people guilty of some crime and punishing them, often without a trial. Okay, so that's if for whatever reason, the legislative body instead of the judicial body says that you are a bad boy and deserve punishment. Ex post facto. That just sounds like somebody trying, like, in cartoons when people speak like different languages, like they're like ex posto facto, like they're trying to speak Spanish or something like that. Ex post facto, having retroactive effect or force. Retroactive, so that means going back and changing. The law is being applied ex post facto. Okay, so what it's saying is you're not allowed to, like, if someone commits a crime before there's a law, you're not allowed to prosecute that person after it's made illegal. Like, if, I don't know, like we saw the weird sex stuff when it was like legal for 12-year-olds to have sex with 16-year-olds and get married and stuff. And if you didn't get like married and whatnot, like if you got married to someone when you were 12 and they were 16 or whatever, you wouldn't be able to be prosecuted for that, even though the law says that's illegal, because it was done before the law was made. That's what it's saying. So that's pretty straightforward. Excessive bail not required. Excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishment inflicted. So it's mirroring a lot of the U.S. Constitution. Penalties shall be proportioned to the character and degree of the offense. No person shall be transported out of or forced to leave the state by any offense committed within the same, nor shall any person in any criminal case be compelled to be a witness against himself, or be twice put in jeopardy or life or liberty for the same offense. So that's like the Fifth Amendment. I plead the Fifth. You can't be forced to testify against yourself. It also says that banishment here, transported or forced to leave out of the state, being banished is illegal. You're not allowed to be banished. That's pretty interesting. Unreasonable searches and seizures are prohibited. The rights of citizens to secure their houses, persons, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated. No warrant shall issue except upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, particularly describing the place to be searched or the person or thing to be seized. So, same thing, This is, again, in the Constitution, the U.S. Constitution, not just the West Virginia one. Freedom of speech and press guaranteed. No law abridging the freedom of speech or the press shall be passed, but the legislature may, by suitable penalties, restrain the publication or sale of obscene books, papers, or pictures, and provide for the punishment of libel and defamation of character, and for the recovery in civil actions by the aggrieved party of suitable damages for such libel or defamation. Fair enough. So, this is kind of important. It's one of the things that people ignore a lot when it comes to, like, even the U.S. Constitution, is that if you take it at will, no law abridging the freedom of speech shall be passed. Means that no one can stop you from doing anything, right? But it's important to recognize that certain forms of speech can be considered harmful. So this is a rabbit hole we can't go down right now. You could probably do a whole 4-hour stream on the nuances of fucking freedom of speech. But it is important for the press and for us to be able to speak our mind when we want, you know? Relating to civil suits for libel. In prosecutions and civil suits for libel, the truth may be given in evidence, and if it shall appear to the jury that the matter changed as libelous is true, and was published with good motives and for justifiable ends, the verdict shall be for the defendant. Fair enough. Private property, how how taken. Okay? Private property shall not be taken or damaged for public use without just compensation, nor shall the same be taken by any company incorporated for the purposes of internal improvement until just compensation shall have been paid or secured to be paid to the owner, and when private property shall be taken or damaged for public use or for the use of such corporation, the compensation to the owner shall be ascertained in such manner as may be prescribed by general law, provided that when required by either of the parties, such compensation shall be ascertained by an impartial jury of 12 freeholders. So you get a jury that says how much money it's worth if they take your property from you. They are allowed to take your property from you, given the law, just not without compensation. Remember that. Safeguards for life, liberty, and property. No person shall be deprived of life, liberty, and property without due process of law and the judgment of his peers. Easy enough. Political tests condemned. Political tests requiring persons as a prerequisite to the enjoyment of their civil and political rights to purge themselves by their own oaths of past alleged offenses are repugnant to the principles of free government. I mean, you're not wrong, but that is loaded language. Repugnant. Jeez. So, they are repugnant to the principles of free government and are cruel and oppressive. No religious or political test oath shall be required as a prerequisite or qualification to vote, serve as a juror, sue, plead, appeal, or pursue any profession or employment. Nor shall any person be deprived by law of any right or privilege because of an act done prior to the passage of such law. That was what we talked about earlier. Military subordinate to civil power. Standing armies in times of peace should be avoided as dangerous to liberty. Whoa! What? Oh, that, I don't think that sits too well with most of the people in this state. Standing armies in time of peace should be avoided as dangerous to liberty. The military shall be subordinate to civil power, and no citizen, unless engaged in the military service of the state, shall be tried or punished by any military court for any offense that is cognizable, which I think is basically the same as recognizable. I'm just double checking. Yes, I'm going to keep saying it. Perceptible. Clearly identifiable. So cognizable and recognizable. Fair enough. So the difference between cognizable and recognizable is that recognizability is based on the fact that you've seen it before. So cognizability, which I guess is reasonable to say in this case, because maybe if they're encountering it for the first time, it wouldn't be technically recognizable. And you could have some originalist interpretations where they're like, well, they said recognizable, so that means no new things can appear. So I'll pass on that one. I think it's fine to say cognizable. So, no soldier shall in time of peace be quartered in any house without consent of the owner, nor in time of war, except in the manner prescribed by law. So, not allowed to be drawn and quartered. Fair enough. Right of jury trial in suits at common law where the value of controversy exceeds $20 exclusive of interests and costs. $20 is probably $20 in like 1800s money, you know? The right of trial by jury, if required by either party, shall be preserved. And in such suit, a court of limited jurisdiction, a jury shall consist of 6 persons. No fact tried by a jury shall be otherwise re examined in any case than according to the rule of court or law. Alright, reasonable. Trials of crimes, provisions in interest of accused. Trials of crimes and of misdemeanors, unless they're herein, not therein. Sorry, this stuff's boring. I'm dying just a little. Oh no! Alright, I'm good. I'm still good. Sorry, my phone was low, so I had to plug it in. I thought I unplugged it. So, trials of crimes and of misdemeanors, unless herein otherwise provided, shall be by a jury of 12 men, 12 angry men. Good movie. Go watch it. Public without unreasonable delay, and in the county where the alleged offense was committed, unless upon petition of the accused, and for good cause shown, it is removed to some other county. In all such trials, the accused shall be fully and plainly informed of the character and cause of the accusation, and be confronted with the witnesses against him, and shall have the assistance of counsel and a reasonable time to prepare for his defense, and there shall be awarded to him compulsory process for obtaining witnesses in his favor. Fair enough. Religious freedom guaranteed. No man shall be compelled to frequent or support any religious worship, place of ministry whatsoever. Nor shall any man be enforced, restrained, molested, or burthened. Burthened? We're learning 1800s words, baby. Burthened. The tonnage of a ship based on the number of tons of wine it could hold. What? Dictionary. Burthen. Burdened. Weighed. Okay, easy enough. Jeez, couldn't you just say burdened? God. So, burthened in his body or goods or otherwise suffer. I don't think I'm planning on doing anything else today, unfortunately, Mr. Steve. I got some stuff I gotta do in real life. You know, having real big boy jobs and stuff like that makes it tough to be able to stream for several hours a day. I'd like to be able to just get up here and stream for like 8 and, I don't know, play Minecraft or something, but it's kind of tough, you know? Gotta actually make money to do that stuff. Otherwise, you're dead. So. So we were saying they shall not be molested or burdened in his body or goods or otherwise suffer on account of his religious opinions or belief, but all men shall be free to profess and by argument to maintain their opinions in matters of religion, and the same shall in no wise, like no ways, affect, diminish, or enlarge their civil capacities. Ooh, that's pretty tough, because being like Christian in this state is almost a prerequisite to be able to actually get into legislation. We have had zero presidents, for example, that did not claim some form of Christianity. So, I don't know about that. The legislature shall not prescribe any religious test whatever or confer any peculiar privileges or advantages on any sect or denomination, or pass any law requiring or authorizing any religious society or the people of any district within this state to levy on themselves or others any tax for the erection or repair of any house for public worship. Wait. Or the people of any district within this state to levy on themselves or others any tax for the erection or repair of any house of public worship. Okay, so you're not allowed to enforce a tax that would lead to like a house of worship of some sort, but you are still allowed to make them tax exempt, which is a little weird, but fair enough. Or for the support of any church or ministry, but it shall be left free for every person to select his religious instructor and to make for his support such private contracts as he shall please. Fair enough. Voluntary contemplation, meditation, or prayer in schools. Public schools shall provide a designated brief time at the beginning of each school day for any student desiring to exercise their right and to personal and private contemplation, meditation, or prayer. No student of a public school may be denied the right to a personal and private contemplation, meditation, or prayer, nor shall any student be required or encouraged to engage in any given contemplation, meditation, or prayer as a part of school curriculum. So prayer in school is fine as long as it's not compulsory. I can agree with that. The right to public assembly held inviolate. The right of the people to assemble in a peaceable manner, to consult for the common good, to instruct their representatives, or to apply for a redress of grievances shall be held inviolate. You cannot go in and disrupt protesters with the state as long as they're being peaceful. So, wonder what's happening in Portland. Guess this is the West Virginia Constitution, so I should keep my mouth shut on that one. Courts open to all, justice administered speedily. The courts of this state shall be open, and every person for an injury done to him and his person, property, or reputation shall have remedied by due course of law, and justice shall be administered without sale, denial, or delay. Conviction not to work corruption of blood or forfeiture. No conviction shall work corruption of blood or forfeiture of estate. What? No conviction shall work corruption of blood. What the fuck? What? What? Did we just, like... Did West Virginia just become an anime? I mean, I guess it'd be an anime the whole time, but, like... corruption of blood? Like, it sounds like something that happens at the beginning of, like, you know, some vampire anime or shit. Some, you know, like what? I didn't realize we were watching Hellsing or whatever. As a result of the English experience, the framers of the Constitution united for Article 3, Section 3. The Congress shall have power to declare the punishment for treason, but no attainder of treason shall work corruption of blood or forfeiture. What the fuck does that mean? Corruption of blood is a reference to English common law which prohibited family members from, among other things, receiving or inheriting property from a person convicted of treason. Okay, there it is. Corruption of blood. Okay. Under the Constitution, that punishment may not extend beyond the life of the person convicted of treason. So, going back and looking at no conviction shall work corruption of blood or forfeiture of estate. So, the way that reads to me is that if someone commits treason and you benefit from it, like a family member benefits from it, they cannot convict you and make you give up what you gained. That's kind of weird, but alright. Hereditary emoluments, blah blah blah, etc. protected against. No hereditary emoluments, honors, or privileges shall ever be granted or conferred in this state. What? Yeah, inheritance law. But this one's really weird because I thought emoluments were like gifts given to people, which is why we have the emoluments clause and the actual a salary, fee, or profit from employment or office. So let's put that in there. Hereditary salary from employment. No hereditary salaries, honors, or privileges shall ever be granted or conferred in this state. Okay, so I think it's trying to specifically refer to like a salary and not property, which can be passed down. Because that sounded a little weird, because you can clearly pass down like a house to your son or daughter or whatever, preservation of free government. Free government and the blessings of liberty can be preserved to any people only by a firm adherence to justice, moderation, temperance, frugality, and virtue, and by a frequent recurrence to fundamental principles. So, depends on what your fundamental principles were. I mean, I guess this state was set up as like the state that fought slavery, so that's kind of reasonable, but it's still a little weird. Jury service for women. Regardless of sex, all persons who are otherwise qualified shall be eligible to serve as petit jurors. Petit jurors. We're looking at it. In common law, a petit juror or trial jury, here's the evidence, so it's just being a juror, in both civil and criminal cases, and as grand jurors and as coroner's jurors. I guess those are all different. So what's the difference between a grand juror? What is officially, like, what's a grand juror? Grand jury. Juror versus petit juror. Look at that. Boom. A petit juror is a trial for civil and criminal cases. A grand jury does not determine guilt or innocence, but whether there is probable cause to believe that a crime was committed. Okay. Interesting. A little bit different then. Right to keep and bear arms. A person has the right to keep and bear arms for the defense of self, family, home, and state, and for lawful hunting and recreational use. Fair enough. West Virginia. Bow, 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 bow. Get them guns. So. I don't remember whether Petted Angel's a decent card or not, but I remember in like Capsule Monster Coliseum it was pretty good. Sorry, I'm trying to interact with my chat. It's weird having to look off screen. But election and officers. Okay, this is Article 4. How many fucking articles do we have? Article 4, 5, 6. Oh god, there's so much. Why am I doing this? I might have to break this up into sections. This is it's so long. Oh man, we'll stop at one of the articles, but like what is this? All right. So we were on Article 4, election and officers. The citizens of the state shall be entitled to vote at all elections held within counties in which they respectively reside, but no person who is a minor or who has been declared mentally incompetent by a court of competent jurisdiction, or who is under conviction of treason, felony, or bribery in an election, or who has not been a resident of the state and of the county in which he offers to vote for 30 days next preceding such offer, shall be permitted to vote while such disability continues. But no person in the military, naval, or marine service of the United States shall be deemed a resident of this state by reason of being stationed therein. I mean, I guess that makes sense. If you live in California and you get stationed in West Virginia, it doesn't necessarily make you a West Virginia citizen. Okay, fair enough. made of voting or mode of voting by ballot. In all elections by the people, the mode of voting shall be by ballot, but the voter shall be left free to vote by either open, sealed, or secret ballot as he may elect. Voter not subject to arrest on civil process. No voter during the continuance of an election at which he is entitled to vote, or during the time necessary and convenient for going to and returning from the same, shall be subject to arrest upon civil process, or be compelled to attend any court or judicial proceeding as suitor, juror, or witness, or to work upon public roads, or, except in a time of war or public danger, to render military service. So the state cannot demand that you don't get to vote and that you have to work instead. That's pretty reasonable. I think so. Persons entitled to hold office, age requirements. No person except citizens entitled to vote shall be elected or appointed to any state, county, or municipal office, but the governor and judges must have attained the age of 30. Attained it. They have to work their asses off so that they can get to 30. It's a skill, all right? Being 30 years old is a skill that you attain. Damn it. I'm sorry. I'm too much a smartass for this. The governor and judges must have attained the age of 30, and the attorney general and senators the age of 25 at the beginning of their respective terms of service, and must have been citizens in the state for 5 years next preceding their election or appointment, or be citizens at the time this Constitution goes into operation. Oath or affirmation to support the Constitution. Every elected person or appointed to any office, before proceeding to exercise the authority or discharge the duties thereof, shall make oath or affirmation that he will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this state, and that he will faithfully discharge the duties of his said office to the best of his skill and judgment. And no other oath, declaration, or test shall be required as a qualification unless herein otherwise provided. All right, so you gotta be loyal. Do what the people want. Do the best you can. Good stuff. Provisions for removals of office. So, all officers elected or appointed under this Constitution may, unless in cases herein otherwise provided for, be removed from office for official misconduct, incompetence, neglect of duty, or gross immorality in such manner as may be prescribed by general laws, and unless so removed, they shall continue to discharge the duties of their respective offices until their successors are elected or appointed and qualified. So if they break laws, they can be removed. If not, you gotta wait. General elections. When held, terms of officials. The general elections of state and county officers and members of the legislature shall be held on the Tuesday next after the first Monday in November. Really weird way to put it, but it's kind of important because you can't just say the second Tuesday in November because it's the next Tuesday after the first Monday. So if November starts on a Tuesday, then it wouldn't be the second Tuesday. It would actually be the third Tuesday because the first Monday and then the Tuesday after that. They could have just said the Tuesday after the second Monday or whatever, but making things tough. The terms of such officers, not elected or appointed to fill a vacancy, shall, unless herein otherwise provided, begin on the first day of January. Wow, okay, that's a little different. The first day of January. And the members of the legislature on the first day of December, next succeeding their election. Really? On the first day of December? Elections to fill vacancies shall be for the unexpired term. When vacancies occur prior to any general election, they shall be filled by appointments in such manner as may be prescribed herein, or by general law, which appointments shall expire at such time after the next general election as the person so elected to fill such vacancy shall be qualified. So if someone has to be appointed, they get to fill the seat until the next election. So, like, if I run for a 2-year term and I die 3 days in, then they appoint someone in my place and they stay in there until 2 years from then when the next thing happens, the next election happens. I am dying. Further provisions regarding states, officers, and agents. The legislature, in cases not provided in the Constitution, shall prescribe by general laws the terms of office, powers, duties, and compensation of all public officers and agents, and the manner in which they shall be elected, appointed, and removed. So anything not stated here can be changed in the legislation. That's what it's saying. The legislative branch has the ability to determine what other requirements are necessary to be in office. Impeachment of officials. Any officer of the state may be impeached for maladministration, corruption, incompetency, gross immorality. That's that's a little subjective. Neglect of duty or any high crime or misdemeanor. The House of Delegates shall have the sole power of impeachment, the same way the House of Representatives does in the national legislation. The Senate shall have the sole power to try impeachments, and no person shall be convicted without the concurrence of 2/3 of the members elected hereto. When sitting as a court of impeachment, the President of the Supreme Court of Appeals, or if from any cause it be improper for him to act, then any other judge of that court to be designated by it shall preside, and the senators shall be on oath or affirmation to do justice according to law and evidence. So it says that the Senate holds the trial. They get the judge that's the Supreme Court of Appeals, the lead judge of the Supreme Court of Appeals. And if that dude is actually the one being impeached, then we have to appoint someone else from the Supreme Court of Appeals to judge over it. So, judgment in cases of impeachment shall not extend further than removal from office and disqualification to hold any office of honor, trust, or profit under the state. But the party convicted shall be liable to indictment, trial, judgment, and punishment according to law. The Senate may sit during the recess of the legislature for the trial of impeachments. So impeachment only results in loss and prevention of being able to, being in office. Like, you can only kick someone out and prevent them from coming back. That's all impeachment does if it goes through successfully. So you can't, for example, if I on camera shoot someone in the face and I'm the president and it turns out that person was innocent and they find that that's an impeachable offense because, I shot someone in the face, they can't put me in prison for murder under the impeachment trial. I would have to go through a separate criminal trial for that one. But they can say, you're no longer president and you're not allowed to be president anytime in the future. But that would be it. I'd still have to go through a criminal case, and that's all it's saying. In this case, it'd be governor. I don't know about national law in this. Fighting of duels prohibited. Oh, man. It's in the Constitution. Any citizen of this state who shall, after the adoption of this Constitution, either in or out of the state, fight with a duel with deadly weapons, or send or accept a challenge to... so to do, not to do so. So to do, which is, wow. Or who shall act as second or knowingly aid or assist in such duel shall ever thereafter be incapable of holding any office of honor, trust, or profit in this state. So, no duels. I'm sorry. That's, duels are pretty rad, Mr. Steve. I'm not gonna lie. They're a pretty badass thing. They don't usually work or help anyone, but they're pretty cool. They're pretty badass, But no trial by combat, unfortunately. You can't just get real good at beating the shit out of people and then never go to prison. Drats. Safeguards for ballots. Oh, this one. Oh, all right. The legislature shall prescribe the manner of conducting and making returns of elections and determining contested elections, and shall pass such laws as may be necessary and proper to prevent intimidation, disorder, or violence at the polls, and corruption or fraud in voting, counting the vote, ascertaining or declaring the result, or fraud in any manner upon the ballot. Okay, so the legislature prescribes that. So that means that the Constitution has nothing to do with voter fraud. Now, that's only in this state, but I would bet you a lot of money that it probably is exactly the same in our actual national Constitution. So if people are doing the whole, like, these Democrats stole the election, they're wiping their ass with the Constitution. I mean, they wouldn't be. They'd just be wiping their ass on the legislature if they were actually committing voter fraud, not necessarily the Constitution. So, that's slightly different. Registration laws provided for. The legislature shall enact proper laws for the registration of all qualified voters in the state. So, again, legislature. Most of this is being left up to the legislature, which is the Senate and the House. So the people that pass laws are the ones that determine 90% of what we've seen so far. Division of powers. The legislative, executive, and judicial departments shall be separate and distinct, so that neither shall exercise the powers properly belonging to either of the others, nor shall any person exercise the powers of more than one of them at the same time, except that justices of the peace shall be eligible to legislature. Shall be eligible to the legislature. Well, what is this? What are justices of the peace? Look at the definitions. Justices of the peace are elected or appointed to sit on the lowest state courts, hearing minor civil matters and petty criminal cases, usually misdemeanors. Oh, okay. So it says that people that are, justices of the peace are allowed to be both justices of the peace and people that make laws, like senators. So you can be a senator and justice of the peace. So that's what it's saying. Okay, pretty straightforward. Dude, I think I gotta stop at Article 6 because it looks long. Look at this. Look at this. Oh, God. Look. Oh, jeez. Oh, what? Look at the compensation and expenses. Oh, look. Oh, God, dude. Look, we're not even, look at this. Look at, oh, my God. How much text is there? This thing's so fucking long. Oh, God. Okay, there are amendments. We have a bunch we're down to the amendments, which means the articles are over. Article, wow, damn, article, what is that? 14. Whoo! Oh shit, we've got things that have been repealed. Damn, they were all in the 1992 regular session. All in the same time, ratified in the same day. They repealed Article 13, 3 through 16. I'm gonna have to look into what those are at some point. Alright, so this takes for fucking ever to get through. But we're on Article 6, so we're technically just about halfway done. But not really, because the wording is a lot more ridiculous. So I'm gonna give it a break, and we will do something different, because this is atrocious.